Hey there, everybody. Oh, where's everybody, you say? They're not here. So this is me, Brandy J, hosting Talking Real, 1000. Uh, People are busy. We're making moves, doing a damn thing. And I, once again, got the dentist today. Yeah, yeah. Gonna call me again tomorrow. I just want it to be over. And then when it's over, I can explain to you guys what happened. Just nothing big, but still, I'd rather be able to talk about it like normally, and then also talk about how Black people need to not sit on, like, we have a tendency to walk around with toothaches and all kinds of shit. First, let me start by saying that. Okay. Just like last year, I thought I was dying and I was going to have to catch the ambulance. Oh, I was going to catch the ambulance, call the ambulance, because that's how bad my mouth was hurting. I was crying, rolling around. Then my neighbors came and knocked on the door and asked me if I was okay. It's like all three. There were three back to back, and they were just like, "What's happening here?" Each one of them brought me medicine, whatever they could. My sister came, so I had called her during the insanity and told her, I think I'm dying, you know, but it was that bad. And for you guys that know about toothaches, you know, and I have one child, and since him, I've been to the dentist to do different things, and that's the only pain I can compare it to is child. Well, I can say, I can't really say birth because I didn't push him out, but labor or contractions should hurt. Anyways, how you guys doing? How's your week? How's your day? Let me see something. I gotta make sure. You guys gotta work with me because whenever I do my like YouTube live and stuff, I don't really do all this. So I'm like in training right now with the whole scheduled podcast. So let's give shout out to Papa J for trusting me with the show. I consider renaming the shit the Brandy Show, but hey, teach his own. Anywho, so I hope everybody had a great week. Um, I know it's been an interesting week. I've had a very different type of week. I don't know. It seems like kind of surreal. I don't know. Um, like with the George Floyd, case and everything, it's been having people feel some kind of way, you know? A lot of people of all races feel some kind of way. Um, as we all should. I was and please forgive me if you hear there was no way, nothing I could do to escape the construction that they've been doing around here. I don't I don't really think they're doing anything. I have a good mind to go out there tomorrow and just prop up a chair, and just watch and tell them I'm just a, concerned citizen and I just want to make sure, you know. So I don't think they do. I always think somebody's up to something. That's what I think. I think something ain't right. There's nothing wrong with that street. Perfectly fine. I've been here forever. But yeah, so people are feeling away because of the George Floyd case, and I think for the most part, I'll just speak for me as a Black person. I would say I would say maybe they feel away. Maybe they feel away because we're Black, and because recent past situations has shown to not give us justice. Even when the proof was there, even when the wrongdoing was there, you know? And so some people are skeptical about it. Yeah, that's what I say, right? And then some people feel like, no way, this is a hitter right here because of all the people testifying, and it just seems to be that way. For me, nothing surprises me. So I'm gonna say, I would hope that things get done correctly and justice is served, but nothing surprises me. That's just what has been shown over and over again. So like, what do you expect? But I also say that I know that God has a plan, but it's up to us to believe in that plan. Even when it seems like it's not working out, we can't give up because it's like, where's our faith at? There's a bigger narrative, there's a bigger picture, you know? But it's just sad, it sucks because that's just how it's laid out for us with no explanation, like no nothing. It's just like, nope, you know? But all in all, the worst of it is that a man lost his life and then that didn't have to. So that's something that I know people have been discussing. I know I was a guest on someone's show the other night, and we discussed this among other things, and it was very interesting to hear other people's thoughts and opinions. You know how they're feeling, what they see. A lot of them see hope. Some see. We all kind of felt all of it. It's just we just don't know. You just go with what you're used to, but you hope for the best, but you're just not stupid to the system. You know. Some say, why is there even a trial? Well, I mean, everybody has a right to a trial. So let's just hope that where we're at right now, because we can't go back, that we can get to a better a place that we actually think things through. We do not deal with anything on the strength of your emotion and your anger. That has proven enough to not be effective. You must be level headed. And I say this because if sometimes you're level headed and you still get the ultimate results, then what does that tell you? But either way it goes, we should be level headed in things. Because maybe if we were, nobody wants to see anyone else get hurt. Anyone. I've had enough. Enough is enough. The families, I mean, there's like no like respect or like, and you know how the people just spew out their ignorance, and it's just like, when are we going to be done with this and act like adults, civilized adults with children? When are we going to say, hey, you know what? It's time to get our shit together. Because we are in 2021 and this is what we're still having a race war. We're human beings, everybody, at the end and the beginning of the day. And I think that all of us should respect that more. All of us. I think when anyone devalues someone as a human, I think you need to go figure out what's going on with you and why you feel the need or you feel that way towards another person. Unfortunately, it's inflicted upon the other person, but to be truthful and honest, it has everything to do with the person exuviating all that hatred for a whole nother human being. That's crazy, right? But that's what this week has, on that part with everyone with the case there. My prayers are deeply with everyone and the family, and that justice will be done. I've had a very interesting week, with my podcast and guest. I've had quite a variety of guests that have reached out to me. I've in my second year of podcasting, and I found a system that mm, works for me. It really does work for me. Like, who knew how much a calendar could change your life? Don't get me wrong though. Now this calendar thing get a little tricky though, because you really got to pay attention to the East Coast, West Coast. Like like the time zones and shit. Because then I'll be like, wait, what? I did that a few times, but it's all good. It's all good. For the most part, I've been, yeah, just accessing the calendar just to minimize things that are going on because of the radio show that's coming. And I want to make sure that I don't have too much going on and that I can truly put a lot into that show, into the radio show, and then some, maybe even something else. But it's a opportunity to do something different. And I feel like if you're gonna do something, do it right, go hard or go home. And I just want to have a good time with it. And on that note, saying that, having a good time with it, more of a positive, like uplifting environment or platform, because we need it. And when I say we, I mean the people. So much trauma, drama, pain, and when's enough enough? When's enough enough? And so if we can do that for you here, right here in Real Wise Productions, then got you. Now, I don't know how long I'm gonna be on here today, but I'm just saying, I'll just I'll come in here, do one for the team, and we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll be a Brandy show. Kidding. But yeah. So yeah, so I've been having a blast with the what I've been learning and more of the connections that I've made, like a whole lot, you know, just by utilizing different tools for podcasters, different groups. There's this one group, I don't know if it came from the heavens above, but ever since I've had it, it's been an ongoing thing nonstop. That I get back to shows. If anybody ever wants to join the team and give some, help, like some intern help, like people need assistance and shit around here. Like you get it kind of over your head a little bit. You be like, nah, no, it's cool. I got this. But no, because this is like a real legit, this is a business and you want it done right. You don't want to drive yourself bananas. You can't be like forgetting shit and slide. You don't want to do that. That's not how anybody wants to present themselves when building and then having business. So, I mean, I'll figure it out. But I always do. I always do. I hope everyone out here had a really good week. Um, I know that so many things have been revealed to me this week as far as I'll go ahead and I'll tell you guys the story. Let me see something really quick. I'm just messing around. I shouldn't mess with stuff, right? Always touching stuff. Say, Brandy, stop touching stuff. Okay. So what was I gonna say? Yeah. Pertaining to this week, yeah. And some of the stuff that had been revealed to me, like for instance, now don't get me wrong, I'm a very positive, easygoing young lady, right? I can definitely I can vouch for that. And also, I can attest to that I have great energy with and towards other people. Some people just give off and exuviate like bad energy and stuff, right? Um, but we must, and you and I must do this. We must take into regard that this was this pandemic that's been going on, along with the social distancing. Everyone has dealt with it in their way. Some people, unfortunately, are not here anymore, and that saddens me, you know. But it, I don't think anybody can really say that it hadn't taken a toll on them in some way. So, I know that maybe my light seemed dim a little bit, and if one was to truly know me, they probably would get it or not get it, or I don't know, to understand like, oh, I get it, what's going on here. But for the most part, I was my helpful, normal self, always willing to help, loving, caring. That's just something. If you ask me to stop doing that, then you're asking me to stop breathing, because that is not going to happen. You know, if I'm not doing well or I'm down or something like that, it's not going to keep me from my heart, doing what my heart wants it to do and to care for others. When I used to go to work, working at the school, like it could be something going on in the morning, but as soon as I hit that classroom door, every time, for years, every time, all that went away. Like I never carried anything in there with me on my back or here that was stressful, and I couldn't shake it because, you know, that's just how amazing, my classroom was, and how much I missed them. I missed them so much. I was with most of them since like kindergarten to like second, third, well, first, second, third. And so those were my buddies as well as, students, you know, but I truly do miss them. So what I'm saying is that the pandemic, could make some, like somebody asked me the other day, what's wrong? I said, I'm good. It's cool. I wasn't feeling a certain way, but I guess maybe I thought about it. Maybe I just seem like, you know, because in a way it's like I haven't like had any of my in like a year and some change. The places I go to USA, you know, I'm in San Diego, so we go by the waterfront, the bay, seaport, and all that stuff. You know, even my son, he was just kind of like, you know, and I totally get it, and that's why we have to check in on ourselves and our children. It's good for me to keep the morale up for him, because I don't want him to, you know, like a lot of awareness hit me like this week. Like today, okay, the story I was gonna tell you, and I don't know how longer I'm gonna be on here, but let's just see where this shit goes. So I like to read, I like to write, I like information, and I just like to know what's going on. And when I talk about something, I like to know what the hell I'm talking about. Research facts. That's why you're not gonna catch me like saying some stuff or just speaking on something and I haven't done my homework. You know. Um. So I say that to say, with that, if you are a human and you see all these things, read all these things, and if you're empath, because I very much am, you have a lot of empathy, and you can feel what what I mean. Other people are feeling it. It's right in here. Honest to God, I will break down, and my heart will just melt for the people. I just want to, and I just empathize and want to do something to make them feel better. It just hurt. Their hurt can become my hurt, and There's nothing wrong with that. That is what you call a human fucking being. We're supposed to care about one another like this. Because we all have family, we all bleed, we all cry, we all get sad. All this shit. There's nothing wrong with being empathetic. Shit, if the world was more empathetic, we might get somewhere here. But since they're not, and usually not affected by anything unless it hits them right in their face or at home, then this is where we are, 2021. Hello. Yeah. Anywho, back to the story. So, with that being said, that comes with a lot of, but then these things that you know that are just so wrong, and at the same time, you're not to live in fear. You should not be fearful. Fearful being living in fear will, I mean, that's what the world is doing now, living in fear. And the first sign of the fear, well, last year when everybody decided, I'm scared, let me go get all the toilet paper. I was like, what in the World Wide Web? Then I started thinking, I said, maybe they just, in case they shit themselves because they're so scared they had a toilet paper. I don't know. I kept the same one I had, didn't even go get any extra. Almost damn, so I had it for a while. But so today I'm sitting here and I go over something that sits with me when it comes to this whole thing that's going on and things that just I'm not okay with and pisses me off. But then my anxiety, I don't even think it was my anxiety. It's just like I didn't like it. I didn't like the feeling. I didn't know what to do with it. And then something just came over me, which shouldn't be a surprise since, that's why I received it so well. It just came right on, just like that. um, and it just this calming, and it said, like, you'll be okay. You just live in this moment and be happy in this moment. There's nothing you can do about all the pains in the world. But what you can do is smile and give it all the love that you have. And also, what really took me to the next stage was the fact that, how, like, when we report on stuff, if you're like a podcaster or whatever, and you want to update people or inform people of stuff that's going on, no matter how bad it is, you know people need to know and you want them to know, right? And that's good. And hopefully you're truthful and forthcoming and like transparent, unlike some, you know. But at the same time, that can wear people down. And also, it's so much energy in it that it could become it consume like your world. And when you do that, that kind of like becomes your reality. But if you take that energy and speak about or give that energy to a more positive side of things and just feed it with positive, 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 then you kind of, it's kind of like manifestation, that I felt like I was creating that environment, that feeling, that, like it was like I forgot what you call it, like a dome or something like that, and even though these things are happening, it didn't have to be my happening, my reality that, that it's consumed you so much that, like, I don't know if you've ever experienced it or even are on that level or know you can create your own chaos or your own reality. Some of us don't really see the same freaking reality. Isn't that crazy? And I think that's why people act so differently and react to things a different way because our perspective and everything. But when our brains and things start to really take a hold and you can start feeling this shit and your body is taking hold of you, and then just go back and think about things in your past or how in your life and what you felt like when those things arose or happened. What was going on? Were you like in a happy state and just blocked out all the you know so that's what was going on with me. And then the togetherness and coming together with people, it felt like I was in that moment. When we keep saying we got to come together, we got to come together, you come together, consciously come together. If you know that, if you're ready for that type of thing. I mean, come on now. We are basically energy and flesh, and our brains. If you haven't ever studied your brain before, what a brain does, man, let me tell you, they really did a number teaching us in school. Man, kids would have really probably turned it up a notch if they knew what their brains could do. But yeah, and so that's not even the kicker yet. So I got like I'm multitasking, having this whole like experience, and then I get a notification on a whole nother device from Club. No, yeah, I think it was from Clubhouse, but I didn't really pay attention to that one. And then it did it again, and I just pressed it. I was like, like pressed, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I hear somebody say, "Hi there, Brandy." So, who the what? Now this is a surprise to me, also because I wasn't even really thinking like I'm just gonna pop up in one of the rooms, but definitely not hear my name be called. Because see, in Clubhouse, you can end up in a room with like 600 people, more than that, like a bunch of people. But in this room, it was only three at the time when I got in there, and I just kind of stayed in the audience or stayed down listening. Uh, and then a person left, and then a guy stayed, and but I went up. She asked me I want to go up, and then we just had this conversation, and she spoke about what the room was for, and it lined up with everything that I had just experienced prior to me going into that room, which, by the way, she wasn't even going to do because they called her. I guess her moderators said that they weren't going to be able to make it or do the show. She was like, well, maybe not. And then something told her, just let me go see. Long story short, it was me. Well, those guys, they left, and there was one guy, he just was there. I don't know what's going on. But we spoke, and then it was like I knew her, like kindred spirits. And then we just said, okay, thank you. It's like she knew, like she was there for me, and I knew I was sent there to meet her. It was so crazy to me. Well, not that crazy, but just like, wow, life. I tell you, if you don't pay attention, it tells you something. It shows us if we pay attention. Sometimes we walk around here asking for things, for prayers and all that stuff, and don't even realize. Because sometimes if it's not what you want, then you definitely know that's not your prayer, right? Sometimes it's what we need and not what we want. But we don't pay close attention because we're not in tune with those type of energies of in the world. We don't want to. Some people conform their lives and their vision and their everything, their perspective, just on this world, this worldliness alone, nothing more. Not the stars, not anything. And then if that's what you do, then this is what you get. And I know there's no peace in it. I just want to thank you for letting me come on here and spewing my shit, talking my shit. I don't know what I've messed up or not messed up. I don't know if anybody's even listening or watching, but all I know is I got to get my shit off. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. Before I go, I just want to bring up, I have to remind myself to bring up my bullying advocacy that I've been working on for 2 years in the making. Um, and I can say that I'm very proud of myself for sticking with it because it's not easy. You would think it'd be an easy task to get people to want to, you know, support or help or just, anything. Because one thing I do know is that 99% of people have dealt with some type of bullying. I have not come across one person yet every time I tell them that I advocate for bullying or that my son or, whatever the experience is. That I have a plethora of people that came on my show and, talked about, their experience. One of the ones that stood out the most, that was John Pierre. Like that was wow. He had a story like no other, and you can definitely go and check that out on my Voices of Courage, Walk the Talk. You can find me anywhere that you would find Talking Real 1000 or anything Worldwise Productions or you know Stuck on My Mind. We're all everywhere. So yeah, so that bullying, it's gotten quite out of hand. I guess if you have better words for it, but see, what I do know is that it goes overlooked a lot. Like I've yet to see it be addressed or put across, like when it, on the president's, desk or anything like that. And that concerns me because it's not like back in the day when you go scuffle in the streets with somebody and or they pick on you and you're like, oh, you got picked on when you were little. This is a whole different type of shit here. You got kids that's taking their lives due to cyberbullying. Just the other day, I was in an app. What? I was in an app and there's people on there harassing and bullying this girl because of her weight and saying the most disgusting things. And I'm sorry, just something threw me off right now. Yeah, saying the most disgusting things, and it really made me mad because I don't like bullies. And I tell you, if you send them over my way, I'll talk to them because I never liked bullies when I was younger either. I don't like when people say, ew, look at her or anything like that because who gives you the freaking nerve to look at somebody with disgust? And especially when you don't, you better be the baddest thing going. But I mean, even that is just a very ugly trait. And I always say to people that do that shit, I'm like, okay, so if somebody did it to your mom, your sister, your daughter, then you totally would think it was funny. And I'm like, you would have to, right? It'd be okay. And of course, they're not like, yeah. I'm like, of course it would because you're cool with it because you do it to other people. Well, then if you wouldn't like that, then why would you do it to other people? Makes no sense. It's all fun and games until it's not fun and games anymore. But for somebody to be that vile and to feel the need to go and say just the, most messed up things, there's an autistic girl there telling her to kill herself. It just really gets under my skin. But the thing is that sometimes kids do these things. They do hurt themselves. And that's why I have a problem. And I just want to, no matter what, with my program, is always make sure that that is never an option for a child is to harm themselves or harm someone else. So we have to remove that option because in life we're gonna have problems. Can't really be like no more bullying because come on, bullying's been around a long time. If you really want to label it domestic, if you, slavery, that was like bully times. But you know what I'm saying? You see in the White House, like it's everywhere. People are it's like the thing to do. And so I just feel and I know that with that we just have to make sure that we build our children up better. Like, it starts in the home. You got to make sure that you give your child that security to know that they are loved and they're okay because we're the parents. So that's where they first get that from because that's what a bully is going to target, one that they feel are weak, and you have to like, we have to like I tell my students, I'm like, just because somebody says something doesn't make it true, but still, they're kids. And even as grown adults, that shit can hurt. But we got to start building them up more and getting them to a place where they don't let those things, those words affect them that are not true, and know how to effectively stop those type of things. I know it can get crazy sometimes when they get online and freaking start really going in and doing some things that are detrimental to one's, like social situation. It get pretty nasty. I've seen some disgusting things. I also seen nothing happen either, and that really pisses me off too. That's another thing I have a problem with. But don't worry, handle that too. But so yeah, that's what I want to do with my program, but also help the bully and the bullied. So both of them. So it's for both because we just focus on the bully. The I don't like to call them victims, but the one getting bullied all the time. What about the bully? Like, you kind of doesn't really pan out. But also you want to be able to help them too because that's some kind of pain, or usually from my experience, usually something's going on at the home. They're being bullied, or they're probably fall in line under the middle child. They're left out. It's always something. I've seen it all. And if they're a student and you don't really do anything to help redirect that, then you've kind of contributed to it. You can't overlook a kid, making fun of a kid because he don't have the hottest shoes. You just can't. You got to nip it. You know what I mean? Because parents don't seem to be getting it. They get these shoes, and he think he the baddest. And I had to tell my students, I was like, "Well, why you talking about his shoes?" I was like, "You don't got no shoes either." I was like, "Your mom bought those for you, so you just as bad." I had to break them down a little bit, but it's true. Those aren't your shoes, bro. Those are your mother's shoes. So I think you should just be more concerned and appreciative that boy even has shoes on. You don't know what somebody else goes through. Parents have to remember that too. And obviously, he didn't deserve them shoes because he wouldn't be talking about somebody else's shoes. So we got to think about that too. It starts at home. Don't laugh at your kid when they do dumb fuck shit and make fun of people or do the most ignorant thing and you think it's funny because in the end, it just comes back and reflects on you. So if we knew better, we do better. So let's fucking do better. Say no to bullying. Don't be a bully. If your child's a bully, what are you gonna do about it? I hope not laugh because sometimes it's just a repeat of. I met some parents and I'll just be like, oh, I get it now. It's fucking sad, yo. But that's all I have for you. So if you do hear more about my bullies and bully no more, check it out, join on. You can definitely donate, you can participate. If you know anybody that has a story about bullying, I would really like to have a bully, a reformed bully. I had like one. Is Chuck from well, because he was like bullied and then became the bully, like superhero. But someone that completely like used to be this awful son of a gun, but actually changed, that would be very interesting. So on that note, that's crazy right there. I um think that I am done here. Thanks for having me, everyone. It's an awesome show for me. I guess I do like to talk. Anywho, guys, take care, stay safe. Um, don't engage too much in the news. Don't believe everything. Do your research, and just don't forget to stay positive, and no matter what. And yeah. So, peace.